Yo, in the Raider Nation, welcome to another episode of the Raider Nation Roll Call. This week we have special guest, none other than my boy Chidolinus. Leo, thanks for coming up, brother.
Oh, thank you for having me, bro.
Hey, man.
Thank you.
Thank you because you're the first one that gave me the opportunity to be on a podcast.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, not necessarily a review because
Right.
I've done reviews with Mario with the Stogie Nation.
Right.
That's more about a product,
Mhm.
but actually sitting there and actually chopping it up about the Raiders.
Yeah.
You were first, and I really appreciate that because
Oh, no problem, dude.
I noticed my first outing as in your Budo Raiders podcast. There was a lot of and I
Yeah.
noticed that, and I was able to curb it a little. I
Mhm.
still do it, but
Right.
I definitely learned from you, and I appreciate that, man. So
Oh, no problem.
thank you very much.
It was a pleasure having you, bro. And that was with me and my homie John. And
Yeah.
that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Kind of like you forget you're doing something and you just have a conversation.
Yeah, and that's what we're here to do.
Mhm.
You know, we're not here to talk about the X's and O's. We're not here to talk about what we think of the draft or nothing like that. We're talking about Chidolinus, about his involvement in the Raider Nation as a content creator and as an individual Raider fan. That's what we want to know.
Okay,
Okay.
Cool.
You ready for your first question?
I'm ready, bro. I'm ready.
I know I asked you this when we first met, but where did the nickname come from, bro?
Okay, so it's a mixture of two names.
Uh-huh.
The Chido part is a old Mexican actor. His name is Luis de Alba. They call him El Chido from old Mexican movies.
Yes.
So me and my brother actually both use the Chido nickname.
Oh, okay.
I'm Chidolinus, and then my brother's El Gordo Chido. He does
that was
that
good.
one. Yeah.
That was good.
And then the Linus part is actually a family nickname.
Is it?
So my name is Lionel. You guys
Uh-huh.
call me Leo, but my
Right,
name is
right.
Lionel. So majority of my life, people will call me Lionel.
Right.
Right?
Like-
Or in my family, they would say Lionel. Well, I had certain family members who couldn't say it. They couldn't say Lionel. They would say Nonuel or stuff like that.
Oh,
Well,
gotcha.
my cousin Joel Pudge, who's been on the show before, he saw a box of a check cereal that had Charlie Brown on it and saw Linus, started calling me Linus.
And you know what's funny? Because I remember hearing that name.
Yeah,
I just didn't know from where.
that's
But now that you pointed out,
Yeah.
Linus, one of the Peanuts characters.
Peanuts characters. Yeah.
Órale.
So that's how they differentiate my dad and me because I'm a junior.
Right.
So my dad, instead of saying Lionel Grande or Chico,
Uh-huh.
it was like my dad's Lionel and I'm Linus.
Oh.
So my family calls me Linus. So I put the two names together
Chidolinus.
and it was Chidolinus.
That's cool. And
Yeah.
when did this become a term of endearment from your family, or was it made for like your content creation?
No. The Linus part was just the only part with my family.
Oh, okay.
The content creator part, it probably started just Chido, even from the MySpace days.
Really?
In MySpace, I used to have like El Chido Rebelde because I was really into
Right.
Rebelde and stuff like that. So the Chido just came with it. And then when it came to create my own Instagram, and it was before I even thought about being a content creator,
Right.
just to not have my name up there
Right.
because I work with kids and you don't want them looking you up and stuff.
Right.
So I
Good
just
point.
put the two together and it's
Good
been
point.
with me. Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Mhm.
You know, and see the story I remember that I had gotten from you was, I remember when I heard your name and I heard the Chido, and I'm like, does
Yeah.
that have to do with Luis Alba?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. I'm like, you're one of the first ones that actually know that. I'm
Yeah,
like, because I'm
yeah.
old and shit.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
dope, bro.
Mario remembered too, because if you'll see Mario every now and then, he'll say Chido Linus.
Yeah, but you know where you got that song from, right?
From where?
From me.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I remember hearing that like
Yeah.
once those floodgates were open, I remember
Mhm.
like I remember there was a song. I think it was by Chico Che La Crisis.
Yeah. On the
So then I looked on, I think it was Spotify or something like that, and I just put Chido, and the song came out.
song came
That
on.
Chido. I was like, oh, that's so
Yeah.
dope.
Uh-huh.
And then I played it for Mario, and he every time like we talk about you, he starts Chido.
Yeah, but that's where that came from.
That's dope, man.
Mhm.
That's actually really that's a really cool story.
Yeah.
You know, because me it's like Dub Raider, Walter. Dub, W.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's
right.
it. You know,
Yeah.
nothing,
Nothing special.
nothing special. Dub, W. You know,
Yeah.
that's it.
Raiders! What is up? What is up, Raider Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Budo Raider Podcast. Today, I have one of my special guests with me today. His name is Dub Raider.
What's up, fam?
¿Cómo estás? How you doing, bro?
Chilling, man, chilling. Just excited to be here.
I see you got another stogie already, huh?
Oh, you know this? or had to break one out for this festive occasion.
Dude, man, that's crazy. So you constantly can do those all day long, huh?
Not really. I try to smoke maximum of 2 a day, but today, as you know, was a special day because we did the Stogie Nation podcast earlier at Bose, and so that was a special occasion. But on the norm, it's just in the evenings around this time after dinner, after the family goes down. I tend to just come back to the man cave, as you can see, and just chill and smoke a cigar, drink some coffee, watch some TV, or do some designing or something. Just chill.
Oh, okay.
But again, today's a special occasion, so let's go for number 3.
Go for number 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, for our next question for Chidolinus, aka Leo. How did you become a Raider fan, and how long has that been?
Oh man, my first memory as being a Raider fan was a Christmas, and on my IG there's a picture of me as a little kid with the Marcus Allen jersey.
Is that when it's like a bunch of little boys?
Yes, So that's me, my uncles, and my brother.
Mm.
And from that day, getting that Marcus Allen jersey was the day I became a Raider fan.
Oh,
that was the year they went to the Super Bowl. So my uncles who were older than me, 83. So my uncles who were older than me, they were in high school. So they were about football and things like that. Right. They got us those Raider jerseys. And they would take us to the LA Coliseum to watch the Raider games. So that's where I became a Raider fan, which is watching the Raiders in LA. Marcus Allen was my favorite player. We all had the little jersey. But yeah, that was how it became, and it started since 83.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And because obviously as kid fans to adult fans, it's very different.
Huge difference.
It's just like, I'm a Raider fan. Why? Because I'm a Raider fan. And that's it. You don't there's really no major attachment. Like for me, my Raider fandom began in 1984, Lyle Alzado.
Okay.
And the only reason why I became a Raider fan through Lyle Alzado was because he went to my elementary school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know how when they're in the neighborhoods, they tend to do appearances. Well, he showed up one day and did like a meet and greet, and I just saw this monster of a man, that was like the kindest, most gentlest person I had ever met in my life of that stature.
I hear that about him a lot.
But then when you would see him on the field and when you would hear these stories about him, that he's an animal, a monster, 3 Mile Lyle, and that always like puzzled me as a kid to where I became an adult, I started dwelling into his backstory, and he was so troubled, but within him he was such a gentle giant.
Yeah.
And that really appealed to me about him, and that's what started my trajectory as a Raider fan.
I could see that too, and it's funny because obviously Marcus was first,
right?
But going to the games, I was the biggest fan of Howie Long. Howie Long to me was an animal. He was nasty. Yes. I loved how he played football. And then I see Howie Long now as like a personality on TV, and he seems so gentle.
Yeah,
so
very like chill,
very gentleman-like. And I'm like, that's the dude that used to tear people up and was so nasty on the football field. But then you see them a different side.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm listening to. Did you meet Stephen Wright at the summer kickoff? He's one of the ex-Raiders.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm actually listening to his audiobook right now, and he talks about Howie Long and exactly what you just mentioned.
Yeah. To
where, when it would come down to actually playing the game, he would be a relentless monster. But outside of that, just very chill, very calm, very, very. His demeanor was completely different.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty awesome trick to be able to turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned the being a Raider fan as a kid because it is different. As a kid, I was a Raider fan because we went to the games. My family was. So I was a Raider fan, but not like I am now.
Right, of course.
My Raider fandom, like true grew, is the uncle in that picture. He was a big diehard Raider fan.
Right.
He would always tell us about the players, Hostetler, Jet, where the college they would come from. He taught me the game.
Right.
He passed away in 2002 of brain aneurysm. Oh. So since his passing, I think I became an even bigger fan in like his honor and his memory. That's awesome. Because even when we go to games or we watch games, I always tell people it's like I feel like he's with us still. Like when we get together, my brother and all that. And I think since his passing, I took the fandom to like a whole nother level.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's the reason why we're here today, right?
Yeah, yeah, for real.
That's awesome. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely noticed that when, because I was, I guess, a run-of-the-mill fan for many years, which is the one that would see the games during the season, maybe go to a game or two, and then once the off-season came, then I'd focus on the Lakers, focus on the Dodgers, focus on
Lakers,
else,
Dodgers, yeah.
right? But then when I became a season ticket holder, I started noticing a lot more booster clubs, a lot more like individuals in character, a lot more podcasts, a lot more video casts, YouTube programs. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And that's when I started investigating, and I got to meet Mario, MC Raider, and then subsequently met you, met Matt, and then started meeting all these other individuals within the Raider Nation, and I was like, wow, it's a subculture.
Yeah.
It's a community within the community.
Yeah.
And I really love that. But I noticed that I have this mental tier that I have of Raider fans, which is the noobs, obviously, the new ones from either Vegas or young kids or whatever, that don't know much but are a fan of the team.
Right.
Like, case in point, my son, maybe your nephew.
My nephew, yeah.
And then there's the intermediaries, the ones that are past that new stage, that are actually getting into the equipment, going to the actual games more often, doing autograph signing and stuff like that. And then there's the like, I want to call them the vets, which are individuals like me, which have been fans for a long time,
right?
But are slowly getting into the fandom, being a season ticket holder, going to a lot more events,
right.
Watching programs, stuff like that. And then the fourth is individuals like you, which I call the X's and O's.
Okay.
You guys are the ones that don't just watch football for entertainment. You watch it for the actual plays, for what they do, what they don't do, what they should do. The theories, the personal thoughts on particular play style, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you have the super fans, which are the ones that just dress up and they live that life.
Right.
Like, Gorilla Rilla, Violator, Steve is the Go-Go Power Raider, all those guys that's their life. It's like, if they could walk down the street as a normal person and, they'd be like, whatever.
Right.
But they put on their uniform and it's like, man, they are this entity. They are this representation of the Raider Nation.
Yeah.
And I consider you on the fourth tier because you're more about the numbers.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about your show, the Puro Raiders podcast.
Yeah.
That you guys talk about, obviously a little bit of everything. But
you know what? That actually has changed and I became that way starting from what you're saying. Like, to me, I was a fan. They were here in LA. And then when they left to Oakland, I never went. I was barely 18, 19. I couldn't go. Right? For me, my fandom started getting like that when I would go to Oakland. I started going to Oakland with this club. We were just talking about it earlier.
Right.
This booster club called Worldwide Fans in Black. And I got to go to the Coliseum. I got to meet legends. So I got to meet Stabler, Volodnikov, things like that. And learning and meeting them in person actually made me want to learn more about the game. Right. Not just seeing the Raiders on TV.
Right.
It opened up this whole thing. And in Oakland is where I started seeing the different characters, how you're talking about.
Right.
Like in Oakland, I met, that's where I met Gorilla. I met Senior Raider. I met Violator. There was another one. He was the pirate. He passed on already.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
You remember him?
Yeah, he had that colored eye or something like that.
Yeah. So I met him, and it just changed my way in seeing how big it was. But the one thing about Oakland that I loved was it wasn't just Oakland. Because, of course, we would get there. They would make fun of us because we're from LA.
Right.
So we show up in shorts and sandals and like, oh, here come the LA guys, right? But was seeing people from all over the U.S., which I did not know until I went to Oakland. Like, I met people from North Carolina. I met people from all over the South, from the East Coast. We met a couple people from Germany. They were walking around with German beer, exchanging German beer for my Dos Equis. We met a guy from Tokyo. Dude came all the way from Tokyo. We call him Tokyo Raider. And
did you ever meet the Crusader Raider?
I met the Crusader Raider. Yeah.
From England?
From England. Yeah. So seeing that like opened my eyes to like how big Raider Nation really is.
Yes.
And of course, playing Madden, understanding the game, I saw it a little different, which is why I prefer to sit a little higher in like the 200-300 section.
You get to watch the whole
because I could see the whole field and how the plays develop. Whereas like before, I would just watch, and I guess growing up with one of my uncles, his thing was like, you got to throw it deep. You always got to throw it deep. And in my mind as a kid, I just remember him saying that. Like, well, why aren't we winning? Because we're not throwing it deep. Like, no, there's a bigger understanding.
Yes.
Like understanding of the game and that part. But when it came to that, I think Oakland was a big change for me, and just being able to understand the different levels of the fans, like you're saying.
Right.
Because even then, those were the first parties I went to.
In Oakland.
We were at the Hilton. Some girl came around handing out flyers for a party at a warehouse or whatever. We show up, some dude selling jerseys out of his trunk for like $50.
Of course.
That's where I got my Marcus Allen one. We go inside, the rappers, I didn't even know there was rappers.
Yeah,
I didn't know. So they were all in there doing their performances, and of course they play the old school music. So, we start dancing with the freestyle music, but just that culture was when I finally learned about it. Because as a kid in LA, I didn't experience it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure it was there. Because my uncles would party.
Yeah.
My uncles would, but I didn't. But I experienced that, and I was like, man, this is so awesome. And then now I'm at a point in my life where I can go to games on my own. I can make those games. I can attend those events and look for them and travel and things like that.
You just have to record them, man.
See, that's my biggest problem. I get so caught up in where I'm at and what I'm doing. Even Chicago. People are like, oh, you went to Chicago? How was it? I'm like, oh, it was cool. Like, what did you film? And I was like, oh, man, I only took a little bit of pictures. I just get caught up. I took like one picture that day. I mean, it was a horrible game in Chicago.
Oh, Chicago.
But I took like 1 or 2 pictures at the actual game. Because then I'm just so caught up in being in the game and in the moment.
Experiencing it.
Don't even stop it. Marshawn Lynch, he don't even get past him.
You can't count Marshawn Lynch as a great Raider running back, though. Come on.
I can. He was
just here to finish his career.
I got a question for you. Who is the better running back? Marshawn Lynch. Right now, who's the better running back? Marshawn Lynch or Jake?
As a Raider?
Career? As anybody.
Career?
It's as a running
But he's saying Raider history. You're talking about NFL. That's a different
No. I can agree with that, and I get it. Because
with that same logic, then that means you got to put Eric Dickerson up there.
Right. No, I agree. And I agree.
Or Roger Craig. Like, come on, man.
These are the guys, bro. These are the guys that didn't get the respect I believe they deserve. Eric Dickerson got obviously way more respect than Roger Craig. But Craig, you know how many dudes was running around trying to look like Roger Craig with that high running?
No, he was fire. But what I'm saying is he's not a Raider. Like,
Nation. The next question we have for Chidolinus. How did you become a Raider content creator? Because obviously I've learned that everybody has a very different story on how the process begins. How did yours begin?
You know what? I would always talk football with my boy John. When we get together with my cousin Pudge at the pizza place, Hooters. Hooters is one of our favorite places to go. For the wings.
Which one?
I used to go to the one in Covina.
Oh, okay.
Then they close it, and then now we go to the one in Ontario.
Right.
Because we live in the IE. And then when I go visit them in Vegas, we go to the one in Vegas.
Oh, nice.
But just talk football. That's all we do is talk football. And then my girlfriend was like, hey, like, you guys should do like a show. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you guys just sit there for hours and talk like you guys can do a show. Right. And I was like, yeah, quit playing. Like, that's whatever. And then I was on Facebook, and this guy named Darian was looking for co-hosts to join his show. Oh. And this was at the end of the football season, playoff time.
What year?
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I joined him. I joined this thing. It's called the Darian Hopkins Show is what it was called. And I joined him. I was nervous. I had no mic. I had my AirPods. Like, I had nothing. And I did it. I did it with him. And we talked about playoff football, like the Eagles, the Niners, Chiefs, Jaguars.
So it was just a general football
program. It was a general football program.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But anyway, we did that postseason, and it was kind of cool. So then he asked me if I would join him doing a Raider one. And now at this point, I'm like, okay, this is going to take time. I need to invest some money in it. Mind you, I didn't know anything about content creator for Raiders. I only watched Silver and Black Today.
Right.
Raider Fan Radio. Q on his Locked On Raiders.
Locked On Raiders, yeah.
That's the only thing I ever watched. So I didn't know Samoa Raider. I didn't know any of the big ones out there. And then we start doing the show, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it. And then it came to a point where he couldn't do it anymore. And I met Chris. Mm-hmm. And then I joined Chris on his Fan Friday Protect the Shield. And then I was like, bro, he doesn't want to do it no more. He's like, bro, you're ready to go on your own.
Right.
And they always encouraged me while being a guest, like, make your own YouTube page, make your own. And I was like, nah, like, just, it was too much in my head anxiety of I'm never going to get followers.
Right.
Never going to get followers. I swore I sat for less than 100 for like forever. And everybody always told me the first 100 is the hardest. Mm-hmm. So I would get discouraged. Shout out to Chris. Chris was a huge support. He was like, bro, don't give up. Just keep doing your show. Even if it's 4 or 5 people watching, just do your show. Don't even worry about it. Talk to John. He's like, you're on there, talk to John, talk to your cousin, have me on there. Mm-hmm. I used to have Chris on in the beginning. And it just started clicking, and I liked it. I started realizing, like, I just like talking about football.
Yeah. Every time I watch it, you look very comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like if you're sitting on your couch and just, chopping it up.
Right.
Like if you're sitting with the individual right there. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel rehearsed. Right. It doesn't feel like those ESPN or NFL Network talk shows to where everything is like what we're doing now, where it's more of an interview. With you guys, kind of like just talking. Yeah, this is the topic, and then just you go on and talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And as a guest, I feel very comfortable doing that because I know that there's no like you have to do this. You're not regulated. It's like speak your mind.
No, speak your mind. On my show, you can come speak. We don't have to agree.
Right.
You can have your view. I mean, if you guys follow us, I have my boys in the syndicate, Turf. We're always going at it back and forth. Me and him. We always don't agree, but we don't call each other names either.
Right.
There's a mutual respect. Like you're entitled to your opinion, and I am. And when I have guests, it's the same way.
Right.
You don't have to agree with me. You can. When did the whole Derek Carr thing happen? My boy John knows how much I love Derek Carr. So it was always just like you can say what you want about him, but also understand that I'm gonna have my view and it's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
And that's actually another point I wanted to make. How many shows do you have now? Because I know you have 2, now 3, right?
So
you have your third?
My own show is Puro Raider Podcast. Mm-hmm. That's on the Chidolinus YouTube channel. That's my show. I do that on Mondays.
Like, follow, subscribe?
Yes. And then, of course, the other one is on Sundays, which I'm part of a group called the Raider Syndicate, which is Chris from Protect the Shield, the Raider Rundown, and then the Ultimate Raider Fan, Turf. And on Sundays,
salute, fellas,
the 4 of us get together, and then we have the debate, the discussion, about what's going on. So there's that one. And then now with Mario, I started this third one that we do in studio, an actual in studio podcast, which I always wanted to do. No lie. Like I always wanted to do that. So when he hit me up about it, I was all about it. I was like, I'm down, bro, I'm down. And it worked out because with MC Raider, with Mario, we have that vibe, that connection, where you guys can just talk, with one another. And then joke
he's
around.
funny.
And he's funny.
Right.
Which makes it easier for me because I'll joke around. And I've been on guests on other people's show, and they're like, hey, dude, you're joking around too much.
You're like, just chill.
Yeah. So that worked. And that's going to be coming out more frequently as we get more studio time. And that one's called Real Talk Nation. And that's on MC Raider's YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So those are the 3 right now.
Okay.
And then, of course, once the season starts, that's how I got Monday, because my Monday was actually a Reaction Monday show.
From
Sunday,
right.
From the weekend. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And because we're in West Coast, the Monday Night Football for us is later.
Right.
So it was easier for me to do on Monday.
Yeah, it's actually sounds very well thought out.
Yeah, because Chris would hit me up on Sundays after the game for like a reaction show. Half the time I was probably buzzed at the pizza place,
Man, fuck this team.
And the other time I was probably at the game.
Right.
So there's no way I was going to do it. I'm like, look, man, when it comes to Sundays, I can't do shows.
Right.
I will not do shows. I will be at the game or I'll be watching. Like I want to be able to watch.
Right. You got to enjoy it.
I have to enjoy it.
And then also, another thing that I've learned, because obviously being a Raider fan, you get very emotional when you're watching the game.
Oh,
it may be good or bad. Mm-hmm. You always need that time to kind of like cool down and have a level head and kind of like think of what you actually just watched.
Yes.
Because if you talk emotionally, I'm not saying you're gonna sound stupid, but you're definitely gonna sound passionate.
Right.
You're gonna be pissed or you're gonna be very happy. So it's always best to kind of like chill, think about it, and then
that is so true because I did that last year with Aiden O'Connell. After every game or every loss, to me it was him.
Right.
Him. It's his fault. This is why we're losing. We need a better quarterback. And like you said, I was emotional. We get to the off season, I start rewatching the games because I have NFL Plus. So I rewatch the games.
That's how you watch them. And I was going to ask you about that.
So part of my analysis when you say the X's and O's, so I watch the game Sunday. Monday morning, I go on NFL Plus and I rewatch the game.
Oh, gotcha.
So instead of being in my feelings and my emotions,
you actually
watch the game.
Gotcha.
So that I did that last year with Aiden O'Connell. So at the end of the year, I started rewatching the Charger game. I'm like, damn, he did get sacked a lot, but
the first Charger,
game, he brought us back.
He did,
and I was like, we were one play away from tying it up, and that's when it starts clicking. Like, okay, I am being emotional. Yeah. I need to reevaluate. Okay, let me really look into what this guy is doing, and that's a good point. I mean, that's why I don't like doing them right after
the day of, the
day of, because I am emotional.
No, and you know what? I always wondered. I'm like, how the hell do these guys know that the third play of the third quarter? And I'm like, do they have like elephant brains where they retain everything? Because I remember certain plays which are like the ones that are reviewed or suspect of some sort. Yeah. But like the third play where it's just like a 5-yard run. And you fools are dissecting it. I'm how the hell do they know? But now I know. NFL Plus.
NFL Plus.
Because I was even thinking, I'm like, well, are the Raiders giving these guys like film websites?
No. Stuff? And NFL Plus is cool. You get to rewatch the game, right? And then also they have what's called the All In or the 24. It's called something. It's a special filming of it, kind of like coach's film.
Oh, okay. Where they have that.
So you watch it, but you don't. It's without the sound.
Gotcha.
So it's like the all-in, so you get to see like the coach's film.
Right.
So then that's where you would see a lot of angles. And where I started using that was prime example of the Pittsburgh game. Me and John were at the Pittsburgh game. We were on one side, and we saw a play, and we're like, dude, he should have thrown it there.
Right.
Like that dude was open. Like, why didn't he? Next day, I go back and I watch, and it's because
different
angle, but because Jimmy had two guys in his face. So that's why he never saw the guy.
Because at your angle, he looked wide open.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so things like that, you get to see where it's like, why didn't Jimmy make that throw, or why didn't Aiden make that throw? And then you rewatch the film, because he had big ass Chris Jones in his face.
Right.
So that was why.
So C Nation, this is what to expect on Puro Raiders podcast. This type of conversation. All these boys know what they're talking about, so tune in, as I do, on a weekly basis.
I'm going to start this shit off, Chido, asking you, who do you want to start, Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell? Because I know all you fuckers out there, all you fuckers are going at it with me, talking about Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell. In reality, we don't know who the fuck's starting. We just don't know. But who do you want, Big Dog?
Honestly, Big Dog, at this point, I get the Minshew hype. Everybody thinks he's cool. We have the little videos we were all floating around with Minshew and shit. But when it comes down to it, like, you got to remember, he was brought in here as a backup. Even though people say we paid him a lot of money, that's backup money. That ain't starter money. Aiden O'Connell was our starter last year. AP's rocking with him. AP said he's going to be our starter this year. So as long as that's who AP's backing with, I'm with that. Up until he starts showing that he can't get it done, I'm going to have to back him up. I mean, we've had worse here. We've had a lot worse here. But I'm cool with Aiden O'Connell right now. To this point, I'm cool with O'Connell being the starter.
Yeah.
All right. Final question for Chidolinus. Leo,
what's up?
What do you advise Raider fans to become more active in the Raider Nation? Like, what advice would you give them? Would you tell them to become content creators? To what do you think would motivate them?
That's an interesting question, because to me it depends on how far you want to go in. I know some people think what I do is too much. I'm too much of a fan, like, wow, chill, bro. It's just a team. To me, it's more than a team, right?
It is.
And I get it. Like, it's to each their own. Some just want to watch the games, things like that. But I think for the nation is to understand that there's more than just the games on Sunday.
Right.
And by that, I mean events like the season open explosion thing we went to. What was it called in Baker Show?
The summer kickoff?
Summer kickoff. So people like Lorenzo, You know, like follow him on Facebook. There's this dude I just started following who's gonna do the convention in San Diego. I just told you right now, like, dude, I didn't even know there was a convention in San Diego.
Right. The Mari's event.
And then Mari's event in Long Beach, you know, that's gonna be here. So I think just reaching out, asking, you know, hey, is there anything, get-togethers? I know Mario MC Raider wants to have La Chara and IE Raider come on our show.
Right.
And they're part of, what is it, the Nation Booster Club?
Yeah.
So there's like an LA chapter now, right? TNBC, LOC?
Yes.
Yeah. So to bring them on the show, because they do other stuff like
they do
the community.
They do philanthropic events.
Yeah, they do stuff like that.
Yeah, they fed the homeless, and I believe it was either South Central or Skid Row, somewhere in that area. And because Mario MC Raider actually went to cover it, and he even told me that initially he just went, you know, to cover, to support for content, but while he was there, he got emotional. Yeah, because he saw that the Raider Nation wasn't just about, you know, let's have fun, right? You know, support our team, but also give back to the community. Yeah,
and I think that just goes back to what you were saying. Like, I think it's how involved do you want to get? If you want to get so involved or you want to help the community, there's levels to that.
Definitely.
If you want to get in there and just attend parties, there's part of that too.
Right.
You know, if you just want to talk football, there's those of us that do just talk football.
Gotcha.
So it all just depends what you want to do. I think to me, the one thing I want to see out of the nation is to stop bickering with each other.
Yes.
Stop bickering with each other. Yes, Derek Carr's gone. You like him or not, like he's gone. Josh Jacobs, huge thing, you know. Well, why do you like him? I liked him as a player.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm going to call him an asshole because he didn't say goodbye to me on Instagram. You know, like, I don't care. I didn't need that goodbye.
Right.
But I think it depends on what involvement you want to get. But the part that bugs me is how much we go at it with each other on social media. That is the one part I do not like about being a content creator, is it opened my eyes to a part of the nation that's ugly.
Right.
And I don't like seeing that.
Well, you know, one thing that I learned from a friend many years ago, because we've had some ignorant friends that, you know, just talk out of their ass.
Yeah.
She once told me, all you got to do is ignore the ignorant, because they don't know any better.
True.
You know, and if you fall to their level and try to bicker with them, you're doing the same thing as them. Yeah. So, you know, just agree to disagree and just move on, because no matter where you are, maybe the Raider Nation, maybe work, maybe whatever, there's always going to be those individuals, especially on social media platforms.
Oh God!
You know, there's people that are just there to do that. You know, like there was some dude on it wasn't Instagram, it was on Facebook.
Probably Facebook.
Yeah, he followed me, and I guess he was a pretending to be a Raider fan, but he was actually a 49er fan. And then he just starts posting, fuck the Raiders, fuck the Raiders, fuck the Raiders. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So, like, anything else? Like, no, your team sucks. I'm like, cool. You know, I didn't let him or bring me down to his level and be like, no, fuck your team. And, you know, try to do the back and forth, because that's what they want.
Right.
You know, like, fuck my team. Then,
no, I think that part I can deal with. I think to me it's I'll give you a prime example of the most recent. The most recent was the AP hiring. As a Raider fan, I thought most would be happy with it. You know, he's a coach, brought the energy back to us, brought back the Raider mystique, the Raider way. You know, to me, it's the Raider mystique.
Right.
And, you know, brought it back, brought back energy to the team. But yet you still had these people that couldn't get past the color of his skin and where he came from. That we don't need a coach like that. He's too ghetto. What does Compton have to do with being a Raider? They focus so much on that end and not what he is as a football player. Right. He's a Super Bowl champion. Middle linebacker, star of a great defense. It stopped Tom Brady twice. You know, but they can't get past that part. And I think, to me, what makes it worse is that as a Raider organization, we've been the team to break those barriers.
Yes.
With Flores, with Shell. Yes. You know, with bringing in some of the first African American players into the league.
First woman general manager.
Yeah, Al Davis going into his historic black colleges to get players.
Yep.
You know, so as a Raider organization, that's part of our culture and our mystique. To see that type of hate within the nation, I think that's what troubled me the most. Because in my mind, like, you wouldn't say that if we were the Coliseum.
Right.
You wouldn't say, even if you were at Legion, I don't think you would say that if you were at Legion.
Oh, of course.
Well, maybe, who knows?
You know, we just have to deal with it accordingly.
Yeah.
Nation, unfortunately, my phone got full because me and Leo could talk it up all freaking day long. So we're going to have to cut a little bit short. Leo, please tell us what you got coming up. Any projects, any products, events?
Yeah, no, today, catch my boy Chris. It's Friday. We're filming Fan Talk Friday. Okay. I'll be joining him today. Later on today, we're gonna share about a raffle we're having for 2 tickets for the 49er preseason game.
Excellent.
That's gonna come with the shirt that I make. I know last year I made the Fuck the Chiefs one. Those tickets are gonna come on with this Fuck the Niners.
Nice.
So you'll get that one. And then of course we have our show on Sunday, Syndicate Sunday. You catch it on my channel, the Chidolinus channel, and as well as my show on Monday, Poodle Raiders Podcast.
Poodle Raiders Podcast. You heard it. Follow this man on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook as well. One more thing. Aside from just having this interview, we're going to go play golf today. Chop it up on the links. I'll be incorporating some of what we do out there, some good and some bad, for your entertainment. So we're definitely going to keep on talking. I just got to remove make some space on my phone for this. But Leo, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks for participating and helping me help our nation become a lot bigger and stronger.
Yes, and follow Walter, his Dub Raider.
Yes.
Dub Raider channel on YouTube.
Yes. So again, nation, thanks for being here. Please like, subscribe, follow, spread the word. Because remember, for the nation, by the nation.
That's right, man.
Well, Raider Nation, unfortunately, Chidolinus couldn't join me today for some golfing. He actually had a work emergency that he had to show up for, but I'm still gonna play a round of golf. I'm waiting for one of my fraternity brothers right now. Gonna do it, and hopefully he and I will hook up next week and try and get a round in. So stay tuned.